Welcome to another video on the Targeted Individual Program. In this video, I want to talk about Coercive Persuasion Program, as I mentioned in the very first video that I did on this subject. I'm going to give you an explanation of what is a coercive persuasive system, or mind control or thought reform program. So the information I am reading and will be giving you comes from the website factnet.org. Okay, that's factnet.org. Okay, this is the website that studies cults and cults behavior and give you a very detailed explanation and information on mind control, which we all know are used by cults. So here is what is the given explanation of what a coercive psychological system is. A coercive psychological system are behavioral change programs which use psychological force in a coercive way to cause the learning and adaptation of an ideology or designated set of beliefs, ideas, attitudes, or behavior. The essential strategy used by the operators of these programs is to systematically select, sequence, and coordinate many different types of coercive influence, anxiety, and stress-producing tactics over continuous periods of time. In such a program, the subject is forced to adapt in a series of tiny invisible steps. Each tiny step is designed to be significantly small, so the subject will not notice the change in themselves or identify the coercive nature of the process being used. The subject of these tactics do not become aware of the hidden organizational purpose of the coercive psychological program until much later, if ever. These tactics are usually applied in a group setting by well-intended but deceived friends and allies of the victims, also family members. This keeps the victim from putting up the ego defenses we normally maintain in known adversarial situations. The coercive psychological influence of these programs aim to overcome the individual critical thinking abilities and free will. Apart from any appeal to informed judgment, victims gradually lose their ability to make independent decisions and exercise informed consent. Their critical thinking, defenses, cognitive process, values, ideas, attitudes, conduct, and the ability to reason are undermined by a technological process rather than by meaningful free choice, rationality, or the inherent merit or values of the ideas or proposition being presented. So that is the definition of what a coercive psychological systems are. Okay? Now, let's say someone wanted to do you harm. Okay? Someone who may have friends in authoritative position within the government or the police force or the FBI, you know, for or whatever. Okay? If they have the right connection, okay, or even, let's say, even within the churches, and if they have the right connection, they can get someone to place you in these sort of systems or these sort of programs. Now, I'm going to ask this question. Okay, you can answer it yourself if you're a targeted individual. Okay, why would someone put you in this program? All right, I mean, think about it. You know, people say, and I say this in other videos, people always say, well, you know, what makes you so important that the government would want to place you in a psychological or brainwashing program? And to me, that has got to be the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Okay? Why does someone dislike you? Why are you so important that people just dislike you like that? Do they hate you for what you have, for who you are? I mean, why, right? That's like asking that question, okay? You don't have to be important to be placed in a mind control program. You don't have to be important to be placed in a medical experimental program. But that is the defensive answer that you get from people when, as a targeted individual, when you explain to them what is happening to you, that's what they say. Okay? And if I was you, I would ask them, I would say, well, you know what? Why have people in the past was experimented on? Okay? Why is people today is experimented on? People in America refuse to believe that our government can do this to individuals, that our government can operate mind control programs, that our government can conspire to destroy a person's life. I mean, classic example, and even the recent cases. Okay, look at whistleblowers. Look at people who have blown the whistle on government agencies who have committed crimes against its citizens, who have done things to other countries, to other people, and have tried to cover it up. And those people who have exposed those crimes, look at what happens to them. Okay? They become targeted individuals. Their lives are destroyed. Their friends, their social, their family, interactions, environments, those things are destroyed. Okay? So, I mean, when people say, well, what makes you so important? I mean, sometimes, I just want to say, like, are you serious? Like, really? Okay? But as a targeted individual, that is what you hear all the time. Okay? No one wants to believe you. Everyone wants to make you feel like, you're mentally ill, you're delusional. They question you. When you explain that your privacy has been violated, they don't want to believe you. Well, all you have to do is listen to the news. I'm talking about real news, okay? Real news that talks about the government spying on its citizens. And as a matter of fact, we should all know, and you should all know, that all telephone lines in the United States, whether it be landlines, cell phones, are being listened to. Okay? You just don't know about it. Okay? But one day, some of you will realize that your phone have been tapped. Your privacy is no longer, your personal information is no longer private. Okay? We are talking about a program that uses citizens as a spying network, people who work in hospital, doctor's office, your medical information, okay, your personal information, people who work in telephone companies. Okay, you're talking about a citizen network who are working for our government, or people within the government who claim that you might be a bad person. That's what they're being told. But, people have to start to really ask questions. People have to start to question authorities when they come to you and ask you to participate in a psychological harassment program. Okay? If a person is being villainized by, let's say, the FBI, CIA, you don't know what they've done to that person psychologically to make them behave in the way they behave. And as I've read about coercive psychological system, is that you can be influenced in ways in which you do not know, in ways which you are not aware of. Do you realize that someone who has been well trained in hypnosis, can start a conversation with you, can embed negative commands, negative feelings in your mind. You don't know that? Well, it's time for you to get educated. Time for you to do research, stop sleeping, wake up, because you know what? If you are a parent, it could be your child, it could be the next victim. It could be your brother and sister, that could be the next victim. It could be your neighbor, that could be the next victim. It could be you, that could be the next victim. Okay? So I'm asking you, as a human being, who I respect, because you are a human being, to question the authorities when anyone come to you with any information that says that you can participate in psychologically harming an individual or physically harming an individual. And I know through certain government programs that some people are made to participate in these programs to get their hands dirty so that they will never talk about what they've done or what they're doing, because they themselves would be placed into the program or could be prosecuted in some way or some shape or form. But, I'm asking you to just look past that and do what's right. Stop these people from continuing to do what they're doing. Do not remain silent. Speak up and be a good human being.